Creators, you've survived a lot, but survival isn't the same as peace. That's why tonight we explore a question most never ask. What actually disappears when attention fully rests on experience? And could that disappearance be the beginning of your breakthrough? Oh, yes, on tonight's show, we're interested in an inner exploration. Because what if the thing exhausting you isn't your life, but instead what your mind keeps adding to it? On tonight's show, we are going deep with a breakthrough, breakdown. But more than just unpacking and using our field experience, going back and revisiting it, more than that, we want to get to an understanding and revisit a question that we so often overlook. This question of what actually disappears when attention rests on present experience. Without further ado, if you're ready to live free beyond fear, welcome here. I'm Dr. Shawn, and I believe you do not need years to heal. You just need one real breakthrough. That's why I invented Transcendent Psychology, and I test it in the real world, on real people, on my game show, Countdown to Breakthrough, the only game show that heals your soul. Right now, you're on the Breakthrough Live, where we break down the science of healing so that you get your own breakthrough live. On today's show, our conversation is going into the field. I want to re-examine what happens when we actually go to the streets and bring this basic question to people. This basic question of what actually happens to attention when it fully rests on present experience. So many of us think we already know the answer, but tonight we need to look deeper. So not only are we going to do our breakthrough breakdown, but of course, by the end of the evening, we will be entering into the spiritual chambers, the inner chambers, where we can look and see for ourselves and discover our own answers. And so, folks, let's begin. Going directly to the field. Here we go.
My secret game show teaches you how to let go.
Can I show you how beautiful your mind is?
Sorry, I'm really good.
I'm Dr. Shawn. I'm a therapist. If I don't serve you in 7 minutes, I pay you cash.
Anything happens to me?
I need to know one thing in life you wish you could let go of, but just can't. 7 minutes on the clock. Just look at the pen. Let your awareness expand.
It's just like emptiness.
You hear the silence underneath the sound?
Yeah.
Is that what you're telling me?
What does that mean?
I'm so sorry.
What did it feel like?
Serenity.
We bring heaven to earth when we transform our minds. I'm Dr. Shawn, and we weren't sent to impress our people. We were sent to transform our people into a light for the world. For God's universe opens to all who believe in breakthrough.
What if I told you that everything holding you back, every regret, every shame, every heartbreak could dissolve into thin air right here and right now? But not with years of meditation or therapy like you might think, but way better. What if a simple game could let you let it all go right now? Today, in this Atlanta park, I'm collapsing time itself for you and these random strangers with a reality-bending mind game. Using nothing but this pen, I'll help you and total strangers unlock the hidden potential you've had all along, the power to rewrite your destiny. It's all to prove to you that divine therapy can happen in an instant. It's time to discover how. This is Countdown to Breakthrough. See, most of us live trapped in a false timeline. We replay the past, rehashing old wounds, or project ourselves into an imagined vision of the future, building castles of fear and worry. I know I did. In 2012, I stood in a Chicago Barnes & Noble, and a little voice asked me, what's so good about the now anyway? In that very moment, my eyes fell upon a book by Eckhart Tolle called The Power of Now.
Okay, so real quick, we're talking about getting out of time, which means that when we talk about attention resting on experience, we're really saying attention resting on the present moment. Attention resting on the present moment. You've heard this before, but the question that I'm working with tonight is what is actually disappearing when attention rests on the present moment? The experience that we'll see in the field will help us get some ideas, but ultimately, we're just building toward our main event for the evening, which is our own exploration of the question. I just want to set the table first. Here we go. Let's get back.
Eckhart says you cannot find yourself by going into the past. You can only find yourself by coming into the present. Did you know that being fully in the present moment rewires your brain? A 2021 study reported in the Harvard Gazette found that bringing people into the present moment reduces anxiety as much as the commonly prescribed drug escitalopram.
Okay, so we can understand that this data is telling us that what the benefits are, what the effects are, that anxiety reduces. Okay, cool. But like in my experience, I'm interested in understanding what disappears for me. And I need to know that phenomenologically. I need to know that primarily in terms of my own emotion set, my own intention set. I need to understand what that actually feels like. The research can tell us someone's qualitative experience. It can give us reportings on what someone said. But tonight we're interested in a different kind of question, which is we want to know specifically what disappears. And in order to do that, we have to go to the place. We have to go directly to the place. Let's get back.
Let that sink in. Modern science has just confirmed what spiritual traditions have known for centuries. The present moment is where your true power lies. That means when you release the grip of time, of the past, and the future, your brain creates new neural pathways, allowing you to think and feel anew right now. Which means that letting go is more than a slogan. Your mind is literally designed to rewire itself when you release the stories of the past and the future. And when you do let go, what if you don't lose yourself, but instead find who you were meant to be all along? Freedom itself. As a transcendent psychologist, I want to take this research further than anyone ever has before. Because here's the kicker. It took leading edge researchers 8 weeks in order to produce their results. But I want today's mind game to produce similar results in 7 minutes. I want to show that by being in the now, you tap into the light of your consciousness, a power so profound it can rewrite your story, not by changing the past, but by changing how you carry it. And that transformation happens in a single moment. But the deeper reason I'm making this mind game is because freeing them is freeing to me. In 2012, despite my best efforts, I was about to spend the next 2 years overeducated and underemployed. Pain was coming, and my mind was about to cascade into depression.
Okay, so what I'm talking about here is living in Chicago. So let me go ahead and break this story down because I think that a lot of times we want to understand a solution without understanding our actual problems. And so for me, this conversation became so important. 2012, I was living in Chicago. I had just graduated from Northern Illinois University, master's degree in cultural anthropology. Okay, so there were no jobs. Okay, and the reality was is that Chicago is one of those interesting cities. It's in the it's in the Midwest, but it feels like old school Southern in terms of the segregation. Like yeah, who you know, it's true probably anywhere, but certainly in Chicago, your networks matter more than your credentials. You dig? And so it was like, dang man, I'm like, I couldn't get into grad school. I couldn't go and get into a PhD program. It was one of those times in life where I was applying to all these different places and no program would pick me up. So then it was like, okay, well, I'll just go work for a nonprofit. But it was hard to get hired, you know what I'm saying? And so that was a tough one. That I mean, because the city itself is I was there without I mean, it was just me and Felicity, so we didn't have any family, we didn't have any friends there. We were just she was going to Northwestern, she was finishing her her grad program, and it felt like I was just out there, like getting up in the morning. I was doing like a little, temporary research project here and there, but them joints only paid like $500, and so the rent was like $500. You know what I'm saying? My half anyway. And so 2012, you know what I'm saying? I'm 24. I had just came back from doing research in Africa. I was publishing my first papers in peer-reviewed journals. I was like, man, I'm amazing. I wonder how come nothing's working out. And so at that time, I started working with nonprofits, but I would just straight up go and volunteer. What I wanted was for them to give me a job. But really what I wanted was that I didn't want to keep getting up in the morning and not having any security, not knowing what I was going to do. And so every day, I would get on the phone with my dad and he was like, "Look, until you find a job, looking for a job is your full-time job." So I would go to these job fairs. And sometimes the job fairs would feel a little bit like humiliation rituals because they would be lined up all out the door downtown outside of a Marriott with people who looked just like me, but just couldn't get work. And I would be handing my resume over to somebody, and the dude would look at me. He would look at the resume, then he would look at me, and he'd be like, "Hey, man, you have more education than me. You got better grades than I did. You have better work experience than I did." He was like, "But I'm on this side of the table, and you're not." He said, "I got a job, you don't." You know what I'm saying? Like it was one of them things. And so I remember getting home one night and laying on the futon because we didn't have a couch. And, I was like looking up at the ceiling and I was like, yo, is anything ever going to work out? And it's in those moments where those negative thoughts start creeping in. But they don't just creep in, they actually start to dominate the real estate of your mind. They started to dominate the real estate of my mind. I would get on the phone with donors trying to raise money so that I could pay for my own position inside of one of these nonprofits because, everybody was like, oh, we just don't have any money to hire you. So I was trying to raise money, but the donors, like, I would kind of break protocol. I didn't really know what I was doing. So I had organizations calling me and saying, hey, look, stop calling here. It got pretty bad. So one night I'm sitting here, I'm looking up, I'm on the futon, I'm looking up at the ceiling. And I was just like, man, is anything ever going to work out? And it was at that time I started reading, Eckhart Tolle. And I would have conversations with the teacher. Of course, the teacher is that Taoist mystic I was telling you about that I trained with for 10 years. But, we would have our conversations, but it seemed like nothing was helping. But there was that still small voice saying, attention here now. Attention here now. And so as we're watching this, that's what I'm referring to during this piece. Underemployed. I ended up getting like I ended up working at like Malcolm X Community College. I was teaching like you're teaching 4 classes or whatever the case is, but it's still they're paying you as if it's part-time. You dig what I'm saying? So it was like underemployed. And so it was like all these negative thoughts started dominating my attention to the point where my attention was on the negative thoughts and not so much on experience itself. And so with that backdrop, there came a question, which is the question we're handling in this episode of Countdown to Breakthrough, but also the question we're handling tonight. What if this nowness could be a gateway? Suppose if this nowness could be a gateway to something eternal. Can you escape into the now? Hmm. Is it escape to be fully present? Let's remember looking for any moment of respite, any moment of break, any moment of attention reliever. Because when it gets cold in Chicago, it gets cold. It gets cold. And it got cold. Let's get back.
After a lifetime of rejection, I began to doubt my value, living in a false timeline I couldn't escape. That feeling of worthlessness choking my throat. Tears cascading down my face as my blind ambition pushed everyone away. I try to see myself as the new me, but I can't. And when doubt turns to rage, I want revenge against everything, including me.
So when doubt turns to rage, I want revenge against everything, including me. Like, yeah, right? Because it's in those moments where I started thinking, like, all the evolutions that it felt like I had to go through just to be stuck, it was too much to handle, right? I started off elementary school, middle school. I started off like terrible at school. Not in the sense of being actually terrible, but just being in the sense of being completely disinterested. C student, I was good to go. I finally got into a college. I got into a college and just went to the first one. Went to the first one that I got into and just showed up. Didn't do a college tour, none of that. Just showed up with my stuff. Bowling Green State University. Shout out to you. They let me in. Apparently, 2.0s were enough. And there was such a transformation I felt like I had gone through, a transformation of learning how to learn, a transformation of understanding sociology, political science, mathematics, just I felt like I had this explosion of growth intellectually and spiritually. Finally getting into a grad school, I start doing really, really well. I mean, like just rave reviews. I'm saying I'm getting voted most likely to succeed in my gospel choir. Like it was a night and day difference from the high school to the college experience, right? And so it felt like everything was working exactly as it needed to work until it stopped. Until it didn't anymore. It felt like everything was going as it needed to go until it didn't anymore. It was like it was going uphill, then when it was time to be more than just intelligent, when it was time to be compensated for my work, it felt like all the opportunities dried up. I was like, dang, did I just waste my time? I could have stayed in Ohio and worked at the Honda plant. Did I just waste my time trying to grow myself, right? And so the frustration was coming from feeling like I had overcame something only to be led off a cliff. Because when the opportunities aren't coming, it feels like they never will. When the opportunities aren't coming, it feels like they never will. So yeah, it got tough. And so yeah, I started blaming myself. I started blaming other people. I was angry with other people. I couldn't believe that they told me to do all the right things and it still didn't work. They told me what to do and I actually did it and it still didn't work. Oh, hmm. That's the context. That's the context. So at a point, those types of thoughts that are continuously reinforced by the environment itself was saying, this is never going to turn over again. You're living in a place. I lived on the west side of Chicago. I was living in a place that it was all right, but it was close to some sectors of the city that weren't really, you know what I'm saying, the spot that you wanted to be in. And so it was like the very environment was also a voice saying, look what you've done. Out of all your evolutions, look where you are. You've only risen to, if you even call it, I mean, it's not really a right, you know what I'm saying? You would have been better off having never started. So when the mind is tormenting me like that, out of that, again, I revisit this question. Is there freedom were I to redirect attention on experience, redeploy attention onto experience. Let's get back.
But I won't live like this for another minute. That's why today, I must learn to let go or stay trapped by this false timeline, enslaved by time. All I need to do is just bring a profound moment to random people on the streets. I know that if I fail at this, people will go on as they normally would, unconscious slaves to a false timeline, quietly tormented by their own minds, like me. But it's the bitter taste of rejections all day long that's almost too much.
Oh no, I'm going down there. That's it. We ain't finna do that. I guess I could maybe catch this brother right here. Hey, sir, how you doing? Excuse me. Can I show you how powerful your mind is?
Huh?
Can I show you how powerful your mind is?
I'm kind of busy.
Okay, no problem. Have a good one. Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yes, can I show you how beautiful your mind is?
Sorry, I'm really busy.
Oh, sure, okay. Show you how beautiful your mind is?
Sure.
Yeah, so what we're doing is, I'm Dr. Shawn, I'm a therapist. What we're doing is, we're shooting a mind game series for YouTube. And what it is I have 7 minutes to serve you. If I don't in 7 minutes, I pay you cash just for taking the time.
Oh,
Are
you
you
gonna
up?
serve me?
Yes, are you up to play?
Okay, yeah, I'm late for my class.
Oh, are you? Well, I can catch you
Go
after your
ahead,
class.
no,
I
no,
can catch you after your
no.
class.
Oh my God.
You got 7 minutes.
Can we walk that way and do it?
No, I need you to be focused. So I can catch you after your class. What time's it over?
11.
I'll still be here.
You'll still be here?
Okay, yes.
Right around this corner.
Yes, what's your name?
Robin.
Robin, I'm Shawn.
Good
Nice to meet
Dr.
you.
Shawn.
Absolutely.
We'll talk.
Okay.
It's right around the corner.
All right.
Okay?
Yep, we'll see you.
Robin changed her mind. Robin was not trying to go and be on camera like that for real.
Bro, y'all making me scared now. I don't
It's
know.
okay. It's all right. We'll come. We can come back in an hour or something, or maybe we'll catch you on
Okay,
another
so
day.
how about this? How about y'all give me let me walk, finish this walk, come back, go get my microphone.
Yes.
So when you guys are recording, I'm gonna be live. So anything happens to me,
Oh,
you're responsible.
And this dude, he was really interesting. He was from Kenya. And so he was like, when I asked him, I said, "Hey, look, can I show you how beautiful your mind is?" He was like, "Is this witchcraft?" And I was like, "Oh, wait, right. Like that time that I was just telling you about in Chicago, the research that I was doing, I told you I went to Africa. Where I was in Tanzania, which is it's right next to Kenya. And so I remembered I was thinking back about the research of what witchcraft means to them. It's very different than what witchcraft means to, say, a European mindset or a Eurocentric mindset, right? So, they talk about magic. It's kind of is what we're talking about. So I was like, yeah, it is. I was like, yes, yes, it's that. Because what they're talking about is more so like an alchemy, like a transformation of emotions, right? And so I was like, yeah, it's witchcraft. I was like, yep. And he was like, this was the response that he gave me. He was like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like he was like, listen, I'm gonna go get the camera, I'm gonna be live, da da da. I don't know if that helped, but it's interesting that it was a tie-in with the very era that got me asking these questions in the first place, that got me asking the question about nowness, about here-ness, about finding our breakthrough here and now. We would not refer to this as witchcraft. We would refer to it as facing reality. Our point tonight is to discover if facing reality is indeed magical. Let's get.
All right, we'll do. We'll do.
Is that okay?
Yeah, so it's wonderful.
Okay. I'm
That's great. If I don't serve you in 7 minutes, I pay you cash. Do you have 7 minutes? Okay. So I'm going to show you the beauty of your mind. I have 7 minutes to show you the power that's already within you to actually handle any challenge that you face. And if I don't get it done in 7 minutes, then I got to pay up. So.
She's challenging, so are you if you can.
Okay, you want to watch? So it's you?
Yeah.
Okay then, all right. Are you up to play?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Are you up to play?
Yeah.
All right, let's rock and roll. What's your name, sir?
Terrence.
Terrence. Todd. Jamaica. James. Bree. Brian. I'm here with Veronica.
And even after I finally get people to play, I have to somehow provide years of therapy in a single moment. To teach people the supreme art of letting go in an instant. But how?
Veronica, in order for this mind game to work, I need you to think of one thing, it could be big or small, but one thing in life that you wish you could let go of, but just can't seem to. You want to let go of it, but you just can't yet.
But some of these problems run deep, though.
Okay.
You have it?
Yeah.
Excellent. What is that thing?
Body dysphoria.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. When did you notice that it was becoming an issue?
So this caught me off guard. The body dysphoria deal, that caught me off guard. But nevertheless, I was so glad that she was being open because it meant that here was somebody who knows the experience of being assaulted by thoughts, of being assaulted by past, being assaulted by future, right? And so I was like, okay, this I can work with, because what's so interesting is that the people I meet in the field are often reflections of myself in some weird way. It's like the experience that I was going through in 2012 back in Chicago, it was as if it were preparation for a moment like this. And so immediately I understood.
3 years ago,
Okay.
but I made a really big change. I lost like 160 pounds, and like it's still there though. Even with this new journey, I'm like still trying to like see myself as the new me, but I can't.
Oh my gosh, that's interesting. So when you say that, because I know all the dudes at home are looking, they're like, well, what she mean? She bad, you know what I'm saying? And so, but that means that there was a transformation that happened physically.
Yeah.
And you are looking for that transformation psychologically. You're looking for that thing to somehow, the baggage that came with being that other person, whereas the physical can change, there's other elements that haven't yet. Let's work with that.
Trying to pursue a better life. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, oh, you're saying sometimes
Like
your own
chasing
ambition.
money.
Yeah, okay, your own ambition can sometimes get in the way.
For sure.
Okay, well, so when did you notice? When did you notice that the ambition was actually getting in the way? Because typically we tend to say you're ambitious, wonderful. We tend to want people to be ambitious. We're kind of trained and raised to be that way. But you started noticing that, wait, this money chasing thing is getting in the way somewhere. Where did that happen?
Like a lot of people ain't on that, so I might push a lot of people away with that. You see what I'm saying?
By saying, hey, look, you can do better than the $60,000 a year at a job that they're trying to pay you at.
But they cool with it. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, no. They understand, I understand, you understand.
Yeah.
Like, you're saying it really is about, you're trying to force people to evolve before they're ready.
For sure.
Okay, and you're saying that, when did you notice that become an issue?
when I started like pushing people away.
Who was the person that you were like, who was just like, man, I can't even fuck with James no more?
Now, it wasn't even on that. It's just like friends and stuff. Like that's all I talk about, like money and how to get money and da 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 da. Cause you know I'm in the park. What's today? Saturday. But you know I be in the park every day, but they be at work. So I be like, you can live like this too, and I feel like that pushed them away, like that scared them type. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what, they don't call as much anymore?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things.
Just name one.
Okay. I guess a lot of trauma, I guess I say.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. When you think about what has happened, you know, what kind of shows up for you? Like what kind of pops up for you the most throughout your day?
Okay, so that's important. When I say, okay, you know, what pops up for you throughout the day? You dig what I'm saying? Like, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to get them back into that experience. I'm trying to get them back into to recall the thoughts, the triggers, the feelings in an instant. I'm trying to get them back to that very vulnerability so that we can address it. Right? I need to be able to surface the problem so that I can show them how powerful a solution is. And so for me, you know, back in 2012, like the problem seemed like it was everywhere. It seemed like it was ubiquitous. You know what I'm saying? Like it just seemed like there was no escaping it. I mean, how wonderful would it have been for somebody to come through and just let me get back.
You know, is there like a certain moment or a certain thought maybe that triggers you to think about what has happened?
I mean, I guess if there's a certain scenario that's taking place at the time.
Trauma is very deep, and so in terms of as a topic, and so we're gonna work with it without you having to say much more about it.
Like a death in the family.
That's real. And you know, when did you notice that, you know, it was occupying your mind so much to think of someone who passed?
I kept thinking about it every day, you know, like I realized that like it didn't really matter how many days went by. I thought about it every single day, like every day. And I journaled it and I tried to figure it out and like try to like create closure, but it never happened.
Okay, so this person's talking about a death in the family. Do you notice that no matter one person's talking about a death in the family, another person's talking about you know, relationships falling apart because of a difference in values. Another person is talking about body dysmorphia. Do you notice that it appears that the real estate of the mind can get occupied for any number of reasons? Any number of these reasons. Any we could even start trading. Could the person with body dysmorphia, would that still, if that person lost somebody close to them, you know what I'm saying? Like that, then losing the death of someone close to them would begin to take up real estate in the mind. Like it feels almost like these problems are interchangeable, which tells me that the problem maybe ain't the problem. It's giving me that sense that the problem ain't the problem. That the issue, the thing that we're facing, isn't the problem.
And the feelings kind of kept coming back as well?
Yes, yeah.
Stress.
Oh, you okay?
One, yeah.
The stress is the biggest
stress,
one.
yeah.
What's causing the biggest? When did you notice that stress was becoming an issue?
I would probably say right after I got out of the military. Like it was more like things like was more just I don't know, man. I don't know, just from being in the military and getting out and just seeing the difference, like the transformation. It seemed like I've never gotten back to, you know, who I was like before I went to the military. So it seemed like it's more stressful. Like I don't know, it's just like just basically everyday life now, man. It's kind of stressful, especially living in Atlanta. I'm a fireman, bro. So yeah,
That's
the stress. Yeah,
that's the part of it.
Yeah.
Is that every day you're putting your life on the line for other
exactly.
people.
Yeah.
And doing it without sleep.
Right. There you go. Yeah.
That's the thing. Could you remove those so people can understand that this is real? This is Terrence. Okay.
Maybe a person that hurt me in the past.
Okay, that's real. That's real. Okay, so when did you notice that that person was still lingering in your mind?
Definitely shortly after. I thought I'd had enough mental capacity to get over it, enough healthy sort of ways to move forward. But then, of course, those feelings keep, creeping back up.
Okay, so it sounds like, there was a relationship that passed, but somehow you're holding on to it in some sort of way, and it's affecting you emotionally. So let's work with that.
Revenge.
Ooh. That's when I remember.
Dude said revenge, and that dude was the first. His name's Todd. That was the first dude that we met. It was early in the morning, and you could feel it. You could feel it, and that sense of revenge. Man, I felt like I got lost in that because you got to figure back in 2012. I'm like, okay, I just did all the things. Like in high school, they were telling me that I wasn't gonna be able to, create something real. Like, you know what I'm saying? They were telling me that it was just kind of like, oh, you're an average student or a below average student. You know what I'm saying? It was just kind of, we're just kind of writing you off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can pass or whatever, but and it felt like after you did all the internships, after you did all the networking, after you did all the GPA, and after you did all the CV building and the preparation, and I was interested in being a scholar, so that meant that the hours of study were just kind of like par for the course, right? So, but it felt like after everything that I tried to do that they said I couldn't do, but then they said, well, these are the things you need to do. After all that stuff was done and exceeded, I was struggling. Hmm. It started feeling like maybe there was a trap being laid somewhere. I started, blaming the system. I started blaming, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted some revenge. And so when dude said that to me, I was like, oh, I remember what that felt like. Hmm. Hmm.
The only way out is a breakthrough. In 1980, Dr. David Bohm, colleague to Oppenheimer during the Manhattan Project, discovered that everything in the universe is woven into an interconnected single whole, including consciousness. Like a holographic image, no matter which small piece you look at, the entire whole is present within each and every individual piece. That means when you focus your attention anywhere, a leaf, your breath, or a sound, you're linked to the vast, intricate design of the universe everywhere. This connection reveals how the now isn't just a moment, it's a gateway to everything, everywhere. That's when it hits me. If I can get these strangers to focus anywhere, that should be enough to get their consciousness to transcend time itself and expand everywhere.
Okay, so just so we have the table set, this Dr. David Bohm, who is working on the Manhattan Project, is the people who built the atomic bombs. Like this dude in his later years, in like the 80s, he's writing and he's basically like he starts talking about basically uh, like holographic fractals. He starts talking about fractals essentially, right? That if you look anywhere, just like if you were looking at a hologram, and every single tiny piece is a micro reflection of the entire whole. And so, because what is universal is everywhere, to tap into it anywhere is to understand that the portal into everywhere is anywhere. You dig what I'm saying? This is the idea here. And so if we can get people, we're talking about what disappears when attention fully rests on experience. In order to find out, we have to actually have attention rest on experience. But when we do, we also understand that we're connecting to something much deeper. In fact, you could say we're connecting to everything. And so it's kind of like, well, if I'm connecting to everything, then how can something disappear? Wouldn't what disappears also be available in that everything? Like, yeah, how is it that I can find any sort of peace by connecting with this infinity? I don't know. So we need to find out. We need to find out. We'll be able to see inside of these contestants a certain shift, and we want to judge the quality of that shift. We want to see what actually happens before we begin to explore for ourselves.
Bringing them unto wholeness and peace instantly. They won't know exactly what's happening directly, but they will feel it, which means I can use any object to reveal the truth of reality. But all I have is this pen. Could it be enough to rewrite their story? To find out, my plan is to use this pen to bring these strangers into the lap of God in 7 minutes or less. 7 minutes on the clock. Here we go. Just pay attention to this pen.
What you gonna do?
I'm not going to do anything. You're just looking at a pen. Do not.
Okay, I figured now's a good time to actually explain this. So I saw this quote by what was his name? Edgar J. Price. Edgar J. Price. Um, Apparently he's written some books, but he talked about the difference between symbolic thought and symptomatic thought. Symbolic thinking and symptomatic thinking. His argument is that the human capacity to think in symbolic terms lends itself to superstition, lends itself to mythology. And once those superstitions and mythologies run into the place where we begin to confuse them for reality itself, that's when you get the most, the biggest confusion. That's when you get uh, racism. That's when you get sexism. That's when you get every single, religion that is willing to kill in the name of God. You dig what I'm saying? It's this idea of this. He's talking about symbolic thinking, and I can accept that idea in layers. I mean, language itself is symbolic thinking. So his answer is that we have to come back to what he calls symptomatic thinking, being able to find primary causes, think from first principles, right? That's great. But like, I can accept the part that I can understand the most is that if we're not present, that our thoughts about past or future themselves are representations, they are symbols stored in the body of reality. They represent what reality was or could be, but is not currently. And so it's like, well, in that way, our past and our future are mythologies of sorts. Our past and our future are mythologies of sorts. And so it's like if we are constantly attuned to the symbol rather than the experience, rather than phenomenological. When I say phenomenological, I mean the primary experience that we can see, feel, taste, touch, smell. You dig what I'm saying? In deep reality, the more that we dive into past and future, the more we dive into these representations of what reality was or could be, these symbols of these symbolic forms of what reality was or could be. And if we allow that to dominate the real estate of our minds, what we end up with is suffering. And each one of these individuals that I'm meeting in the field, everybody knows that. Everybody knows the experience. Whether we know the architecture underneath it is one thing, but we know the experience of suffering, you dig? And so with this pen, right now I'm looking to get people to leave the symbolic forms behind. Let's get to it.
At any time until we're done, take your eyes off of this pen.
Okay.
Right now, I want you to
Take a deep breath in and feel the air fill your belly in all directions. Inhale.
Excellent. Exhale. Stay looking at the pen. Excellent. Right now, become aware of as many sounds as possible. Name one sound that you hear.
Birds.
Beautiful.
The helicopter.
Excellent. Okay.
The waterfall.
The birds.
Beautiful.
The leaves crunch.
Leaves crunching. Excellent.
People walking.
Excellent. Name another one.
There's a baby.
Okay. Name another.
Birds chirping and shit.
Okay, so he's saying like you're seeing people just this moment. The reason it's important is because you're seeing people begin to tap in. Their focus is on the pen, which means that they must expand their sense of perception to their environment without directing their eyes off of the pen. But they must also become aware of the fact that they are extending their perception into the environment. So now there is this awareness of environment, this awareness of experience, this attention on experience. I wanted to make it so that it was not just where their eyes were going, but where their ears are going. And the ears are interesting because with sound, we're not just hearing something, we're also feeling its vibrations. So there's more of the being, more of attention that has to go into experience in order to detect what is actually happening in the environment and within oneself. And so this pen exercise is allowing us to call upon those qualities, to allow attention to rest on experience. My question tonight is what is actually disappearing for these people? A moment ago, I was just asking them about this deep pain, and now their attention is not on the representations of reality, but somewhere else.
Name another.
The car that just passed by.
Yes. Keep your eyes on the pen. Let your awareness.
And like they're tapped in such a way that like I can't even I didn't even hear the car that was passing by. Like I had to go and like, I'm sitting here editing the video. I had to go and kind of dial up the car. Like I was like, oh shoot, I guess we were by the road. Right. So their sense of perception is starting to expand. Their perceptual apparatus are just tapping into something. And the fact is that they're answering questions, so now they have to become aware of the fact that they are aware of the car sound was going to be there, but to be aware of the fact that your attention can now recognize it. Ooh, it's something different. I'm asking myself, what's disappearing for these people right now? And as I ask myself that question, I've kind of got this I've kind of got this sense of like this kind of light that's kind of going off, almost like I'm almost like feeling what they're feeling.
Keep your eyes on the pen.
It's like I hear like airplanes.
Yes, yes, excellent.
The drone.
Leaves under their shoes.
Beautiful.
Something rolling.
Yes. One more sound while you look at the pen. Keep your eye on the pen.
Like a baseball mitt.
Ooh. Okay.
Acorns falling.
Okay, so this lady is talking about she hears a baseball mitt. She hears somebody catching a ball in a baseball mitt. She can hear acorns falling. What are we even saying? Is she a samurai? Like what are we even? This feels like those martial arts movies where the rain is falling down and the samurai warrior has to kind of move through the raindrops and is completely focused as they're cutting through the rain, you know what I'm saying? As the rain is falling, you know what I'm saying? Like where this heightened capacity for perception. Completely you can go to the park and not hear a single acorn fall if you're not paying attention to it, if you're too caught up in the symbolic forms of past, future, in the mythologies of past, future. Oh, okay. Thinking of past and future as a mythology is itself, that's an interesting frame for me. Huh. Okay. Let's get back.
Beautiful.
And it's just like emptiness too. Like you can block out a lot of things. So
Are
a lot of emptiness.
you hear the sound underneath the sounds? You hear the silence underneath the sounds? Is that what you're telling me?
Mara, what are we even saying? She says, I can hear the sounds. I can hear the silence underneath the sounds, as if silence were a sound itself that was audible. I can hear the sound of silence that's underneath all sounds. We're in a busy park. I believe this was this was a Saturday. So everybody in there. She said, I can hear the silence that is underneath all sound. And if you can hear a silence that's underneath all sound, that would be the sort of silence that could never go away. If you're telling me that a silence, typically we think of silence as being the absence of sound, but if you're telling me that there's a silence that sound can exist over top of, perhaps emerges out of, now we're talking about a silence that can't come and go. Interesting. Interesting. What's disappearing for these people? To me, it's kind of looking like they're distractions. For real, I think the thing hold on, I'm gonna write some of this down. I think that the thing that seems like it's disappearing is it's almost like they're taking the governor off of their perception. You know, like how in a car the governor is the thing that stops the car from going 200 miles an hour. You dig what I'm saying? Like it has a natural stop point so that it don't get too crazy on these here roadways. But like, what if the mind also has something similar to that? Just by putting attention on experience, we are overriding the governor of perception. Hmm.
Thoughts, I guess. I can hear them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. What's one thought you're having?
This goddamn pens, the ink falling down.
Yeah. Excellent. You're done. That's when I start asking, what if this doesn't work?
Okay, so he's seeing the ink, so he's becoming aware, internal, external. He can hear cars passing by when I can't even hear him. He's also aware of his own thoughts all at once. Where is he cosmically? This is way beyond just looking at a pen. Being aware of both inside and outside. Okay.
Did you find anything that there was to hold on to?
No, I don't know. What does that mean?
Mm. How quickly everything can keep coming back. The distractions can keep coming back. She says, what does that even mean? What are you saying?
Out of my face. Wow.
I'm so sorry.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap.
Fade out on the dead leaves. Huh.
Then something amazing happens. These players begin to feel the truth of freedom singing in their bodies.
When you were just doing the exercise right now, were you thinking about what you have to do later today or what you did yesterday?
Nope. No. Not at all.
No.
No, I was just chilling.
No.
Not at all.
You were in a state of presence, which just means that you're here right now. Okay, so in that state of presence, let me ask you, what did it feel like?
Serenity.
Oh, serenity.
Bro says serenity. It feels like serenity. Okay, so that's very good. We're seeing a qualitative experience come out. We're seeing someone report on their own internal state. Excellent. But I'm still interested in understanding what had to disappear in order for him to experience serenity.
Like, I didn't think about it. I was just thinking about the sounds that you were telling me to listen to.
Yeah, okay. The sounds that you noticed.
That I noticed.
Yeah,
Yes.
so in
I
other
notice
words.
now.
Yes. So what does the body actually feel like right now on the inside?
Like it's just here.
Yes. So it doesn't feel too heavy.
No.
Ooh. Interesting. Okay.
For a moment, I feel like I was at peace for a moment.
Yeah. What does it feel like in your body?
Calm, I guess. Yeah, I ain't worried about shit.
In that state of presence, how did your body feel?
Tranquil.
Tranquil.
Yeah,
Ooh, so like peaceful. Ooh.
Yeah.
I would just say calm.
Like, what did it feel like to?
Free.
Did you have time to judge yourself while you were thinking about the pen and the thing and the whole thing?
Well, not in that very moment.
That's what I mean. And that's all I care about.
Yeah,
in that very moment, that's all I care about.
Not at all.
Okay, so you can notice that people still have access to their thoughts. Like people still have access to their thought. A lot of times we talk about, becoming present, and it's as if there's no more thinking left. These people still have access to their thoughts. They still have access to their thinking. They can still be thinking humans. So it's not that thought disappears, something else does. We're seeing people saying they're feeling all kinds of free. Like it's not that thought disappears though. Something else does when attention rests on experience.
So then the question is, were you thinking about revenge at all?
I wasn't.
Were you thinking about, any sort of body dysmorphia in that moment?
No.
Was there any stress that you felt like you had to keep holding in your hands? Any baggage from the past?
As far as the relationship, no, not really.
Was there any sense of that pain that you had when this loved one passed? Was there any anxiety of that?
Because my mind was really focused.
Did you notice that you were holding on to the baggage that person was attached to?
No, of course not. Not in this moment.
Did you feel any stress to hold on to? Was there any stress to hold on to at all?
No.
Oh, interesting.
No.
Was there any trauma to let go of? Was there any trauma to hold on to?
I mean, at the moment, no, because I was just already free.
By being in that state of presence, there's nothing to hold on to, right?
Correct.
Which means that you had already let go.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
Without even knowing.
Without even knowing.
Which means that anytime you're facing that stress, if you can ground yourself right here in this present moment, you automatically let go of all of it. Which means you're just available to do what needs to be done. They discover in real time that in presence, there's nothing to let go of because they've already let go.
Okay. That's still profound to me. Okay, so there was nothing to let go of because they had already let go. Right, but there is a certain something that must disappear. They're letting go, but it's not a conscious, okay, I'm no longer going to deal with this right now. It's not a placing on a shelf, which means it is not repression or suppression. That this present moment, putting attention and resting it on primary experience, on our current experience, allows us to leave something behind without attempting to. Okay, Felicity, I see you saying, what would you say to someone newer to this that may say, isn't this just spiritual bypassing? Hmm. I mean that's a good question. Spiritual bypassing is that concept of trying to use meditation or prayer or any sort of spiritual technique as if it were a way to not have to deal with problems and issues and circumstances. But in this case, just like what I was just saying to the fireman, that the presence means that you're available to deal with what needs to be done. I think if we're taking the problem happens when we take the mythologies of past and future and pretend that they are real, and then start to judge ourselves for not wanting to be and live in illusion anymore. That's not spiritual bypassing. I mean, dealing with what is appropriate. Trying to hide or run away from what is through these subtle spiritual techniques, that would be a problem. But in this sense, the deal is that the technique is giving us access to a present condition, a present circumstance, a present situation, a present level of perception. We're not running away because we're not going anywhere. Right? There ain't no running away because there's nowhere to go. There can be no running away because there's nowhere to go. Not when we're standing 10 toes down with attention on present moment experience. And perhaps that is what disappears then is, and I guess that's a good question that you're asking, Felicity, because it's like that's a perhaps what disappears is not the so-called conditions or the circumstances, but the mythologies. Trying to freeze past and future as if trying to represent any sort of memory is by nature a representation of reality. How did Kenneth Burke say it? Like Kenneth Burke was like a 20th century rhetorician. He was basically like, look, I'm about to mix it with what I'm talking about. Like his quote was a little bit different, but it rhymed with any memory is a selection of reality and therefore is a reflection of reality, but always also a deflection of reality. That because our memories do not store the whole of infinity, the intellect's memory, the intellectual capacity for memory, it cannot store all of infinity inside of a core memory. It can't do it. Not in all of its details. And so it would mean that every single memory is but a selection of reality, which is to say, is always only partially true, and therefore must itself be a mythology. The same is true for any imagined future. It is always only partially so. Right? We never get all of the details right. You think about your dream house, you're not thinking about, so let's say you wanted to imagine your dream house, you wanted to manifest your dream house, you are not thinking about the brand of bubble bath that is underneath the second floor bathroom's drawer. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're just not thinking, that's not in the imagination until somebody directs your attention there, which is to say that any imagined event, any imagined future, what you think might happen, any past event, what you think did happen is always itself a selection and necessarily a deflection of reality. It's only partially true, which guarantees it as a mythological symbol. It's stored in the mind as a symbol that represents reality, much like mythologies are stories, a collection of symbols that are meant to represent reality. They're meant to represent the truth of reality. It is said that the human being, as symbolic creatures, right now we are just uttering, I'm just uttering noises, sounds, but you know the meaning of the sounds. So the symbolic thinking it allows us to communicate. This is one of the primary features of being human. But when we allow that mechanism to go too far, we vicariously start living in our own mythologies. And I'll just keep it at that for today, because I think, yes, you could carry that out onto warfare, the stage of warfare, the stage of religion, the stage of, we start believing too much in the symbols and forget the reality that the symbols were pointing to in the first place. So we say, okay, what disappears when attention rests on experience? The first thing that must disappear is not the thought of past or future, not the thought. It's not just the thought. Sometimes the thoughts don't come, but other times the thoughts are there, just like birds in the sky. You dig what I'm saying? Like the thought's gonna be there. It's fine. But what of the belief in the mythologies? What of the belief in the symbols that we are codifying as memory? The belief in the representation of reality that we call imagination. Attention resting on experience. If the symbol is of use in the present moment, we use it, but there's no more, it's not necessary to get lost with it. Great question. Great question.
Including of their own trauma.
Did we have to buy anything
No.
in order to bring the present moment to you?
No.
No.
No. Of course not.
That's real. No.
Yeah.
No, right.
So where is it? Where was it all the time?
So I guess at that moment, I guess it was bottled up inside, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to think about it, yeah.
Where did we get it from? Inside. Yeah. Where was this present moment the whole time?
But here.
Yeah. Is it gone now or is it still here?
No, it's still good.
It's still
yeah,
here,
yeah,
right?
it's still right, yeah.
It's already given to us.
It's here.
Oh, is it?
It's right here.
Oh, wow.
You're funny.
Ah, but if it's right here, right now, that means it always is.
Okay, so we just saw the character. It's like this is the person in the white is meant to represent the inner journey for me. You dig what I'm saying? Anyway, so I reach in, I grab out these cubes, these orbs, and each one of the orbs, if you freeze the frame, each one of those orbs has like a memory from my own past on the orb, right? And so the orb, the stones, like the little infinity stones, has a memory, a photo from my past in each one of those stones. You'd have to look very closely. And the point is that the alchemy, the transformation of this is that this present moment, it takes those symbols, those memories, those codified stones that represented a portion of the past but could not represent all of it, and it turns it into a single solid ball of light that is now hovering. You dig what I'm saying? It turns it into a single ball of light. And so we're talking about what disappears. Is it that something disappears, or is it that something is transformed, that these symbols are the energy that we formerly invested in them, they become, that energy becomes available for a different sort of use.
Even when negative thoughts come, does this present moment evaporate? Does it disappear?
No, it doesn't.
So could you access it again if you wanted to?
Yeah, I think I could. I'm thinking about it now, like going to like events and things where I'm like so much focused on my body instead to just be focused on the present.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
You see, like that ability, because you're already feeling
your body feels great in the present moment.
Yeah.
There's no baggage to hold on to for it to feel any other way.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, what a gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just remembering that, I think, is the practice, right?
That's it.
Jeez.
That's it.
Good shit.
Yeah. So isn't it always?
Yeah, definitely.
And so anytime that you're having those thoughts about someone who's passed, I want you to be able to bring yourself back to the present moment, because as you saw, there's only that serenity here. And there's only that peace here. Because past isn't here, future isn't here.
Right.
And so do you think that you can bring yourself back to this moment, or do you think the moment will disappear after this?
I could bring myself back.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. And that is our mind game.
Okay.
Thank you so much. This is so beautiful.
Thank you. That was really nice. That was really nice.
I still kind of hear the sounds.
As you can still hear, she still got it. But did you notice she said the silence underneath? That's deep. She said, I can hear the silence underneath the sounds. And that silence is eternal. So if anytime you can come back just to that state of presence, it's just right here, right now. The revenge is nowhere to be found.
Correct.
And that's our mind game.
Appreciate it, bro.
Thank you so much, Todd.
Yeah,
I really
man.
appreciate you. Yeah. So that's all I got. That's your mind game,
Oh, thank
Veronica.
You. That was
Yes,
great.
absolutely.
Thank you. I'm gonna really use that because I think that's what happens. I get in these moments and then I'm like, I'm just not there. I'm here, and it's like just enjoy yourself. And usually I end up going to like alcohol or something to like loosen myself, right? And so it'd be good just to practice this instead. So
absolutely.
Okay. I see the twins just stepped in the building. Welcome in. Okay, Felicity, so I'm hearing you say purification where only what is real is left. And I think you got to it before I did tonight, which is when we talk about what is attention, when it is resting on experience, what disappears when attention rests on experience. Felicity, I'm hearing you say that there is a purification process. A purification process, not so much about what disappears, but what is alchemized. Not so much about what disappears, but what is alchemized. Okay. Are we ready to get to the breakthrough board? I think let me sit with this for just a second because you're right. There's something to be said about the notion of purification. That the collection or constellation of symbolic forms that are lodged deep within the psyche of the human mind, their power is pulled from the symbolic form and available for new use. And because the mind is no longer invested in the mythologies of past or future, the human being has no choice but to feel and abide in this peace, right? The absence of agitation is peace. And so if the symbolic forms were the ones that were causing us the issue in the first place, then to retract our attention away from the symbolic forms and place it back onto primary experience is to engage in a purification ritual. That's really good, Felicity. That's fantastic. All right, let me sync with this or eat with this just for a little bit.
Absolutely, and there's so many people who are just like you and me, and so if we can just honor this is what God has given us. So anytime you're thinking about having to have one of those conversations where you want to tell somebody about the money, or if you're thinking about what happens if they don't accept it, just come back to this present moment. That's where the freedom is. That's where the peace is.
Respect.
That's it, James. That's what I got for you.
Okay.
That's the mind game. I appreciate you. Thank you, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely. And that's the mind game.
I actually like that, man. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I like that.
Yes, sir.
What's your name again, man?
I'm Shawn.
Shawn?
Yes.
Okay, I like that, man. Okay. I'm gonna start doing it on a daily basis.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, okay.
So that's our mind game. Thank you so
Excellent.
much for playing. I really appreciate you.
No, thank you. I needed it more than I thought I did.
He says, I needed it more than I thought I did. You dig what I'm saying? Like what's so interesting is that it doesn't matter how many times you've heard someone talk about the present moment or that being in the present moment is important. If indeed placing our attention on experience is a purification process of sorts, then any attention that was going into the mythologies of past or future now becomes available for new use. I mean, it's like being recharged again. It's like being recharged again. That's that. Like, as I'm sitting here thinking, I'm looking back at the creative. I'm looking back at the visual effects. I'm looking back at everything, and I'm like, okay, those little gems with all, the pictures of my past in them, they coagulate, turn into an energy source. They represent not just the transformation of the past and future, but as we're seeing now, this purification of the symbolic form. Energy that was once invested in past and future now becomes made available for something new. Okay, so Felicity's saying the moment of the video where you show the memories of your past turning into light is what made me think purification. Yeah, 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 yeah. Except I didn't see that. You saw it. But now that you see it, I'm seeing it too. So I'm like, oh, okay, 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 okay. Right, 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 right. I mean, it's so interesting, right? And the thing is what we want to do tonight is get to a place where we want to be able to observe for ourselves. As we continue, we're going to go to the place and we'll be able to discover for ourselves what is actually there, what energy becomes available. We'll be able to feel that, just like these folks are feeling, but we're going to look at it from a different perspective. We're going to be looking at it from this notion of purification. We're looking at what disappears. Twin saying that energy becomes purposeful, wholesome. Yeah, 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 yeah. Right. Something that can be intentionally directed without trying to force it. We're not trying to strong arm the attention back. We're not trying to strong arm energy back away from the symbolic forms. We're not trying to rescue something from the mind. What these folks are finding is that they've already let go. Just by placing attention on experience, they've already let go, which means that the job was already done. Okay, okay, I need to feel this. I want to feel this. All right, let's get back and let's wrap this up. Okay, so there you go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that this is the idea that the energy now becomes useful. The energy that was extracted from, redirected from the mythologies of past and future, from the stories, the symbols that represent reality but are not reality. All the energy that was going into those, now we want to place that energy elsewhere.
And in the end, I somehow feel freer than I ever have before. But what say you? Are you ready to access a new dimension right here and right now? To leave behind the failings of the past or the problems of the future? Even when your problems seem too big. Even if you're thinking it's too difficult to stay in the present moment all of the time.
Okay. So first of all, I don't know what's going on with my joint. I'm gonna handle that tonight. But the point of all this is that if that energy becomes available to redirect, and we can use it to, it's almost as if by the time the energy is available, by the time we rescued it from being invested in the mythologies of past or future, that energy is now available to heal us in a way, right? It's available to clear out the residue of trauma from the past, understanding that it was never real in the first place. And so, again, just to return to that Chicago story, I do remember there would be days where I would just come home, sit on the futon because we didn't have a couch, and I would just stare at the walls, find a spot on the wall where there was some sort of mark or something that could catch my eye, and just hold that attention there. And that became its own practice. Just hold the attention until the mind could be nowhere else but in the present moment. You dig? So this exercise of using the pen, it just became obvious that you could use anything. Hmm. Okay. Okay. We're ready for the breakthrough board at this point. At this point, we're ready for the breakthrough board. We want to understand our principle, our pattern, and our path. What happens? The question tonight was and is what actually disappears when attention rests fully on experience, which is when I say experience, I mean the present moment. Let's go through the breakthrough board. And as y'all know, I don't have the principle and pattern and path prepared before I come on the show. Okay, Ramon Smith, I see you in the room. He's saying, "What's good? My name is Ramon. My cousin put in. Excellent, excellent. Welcome in, welcome in." Yeah, so I don't have the principle, the pattern, the path made. So at this point, we need to uncover what this principle is for the evening. Based on our conversation of the night, we're thinking about what is our principle? What is our principle? In order to find the question, we have to go to a place where we can begin to look. And perhaps tonight's principle can't be gathered merely intellectually. Perhaps we actually have to go to the spot where we can look first. Perhaps this is our moment to actually go and do the exercise. But as we do this exercise on the screen that I'm about to play and show you, we just want our attention to rest on present experience. And then we'll allow awareness to tell us what we experienced after our exercise is done. Let's get to it. All right. We'll get to the breakthrough board right after. But first, we gotta experience for real, for real. We gotta know for real, for real.
I have something for you. Use this kit, this conscious transformation technology. I call it the presence pin. When there's too much past or future inside of you, when your mind will not let you rest, look at this pin. You can use any object in your environment, but since this pin is now a part of your environment, look at this pin. Do not skip this part, even if your mind believes. It knows what comes next. As you look at this pin, take one deep breath and feel the air in your belly expand. Breathe in. Stay looking at this pin. Breathe out. Stay looking at this pin. Stay with the pin, but as you look, listen for how many sounds you can hear right now. How much attention can you give both to this pin and the sounds that are appearing to you now? What one thing stands out to you in this moment? Say it out loud. Great, name another. Great, name another. Now let's go deeper. Stay looking at this pin. What do you notice about the awareness you are using to look at this pin now? Do you have to do anything with your eyes to see right now? Do you have to do anything to your ears to hear right now? Did you have to hire someone to install awareness in you right now? Or are you simply aware? Excellent. Do you notice how if your awareness disappears, so too does the present moment? Then can you remain aware of this moment, even when the pin drops away? Excellent, you're done. Let me ask you, were you thinking about tomorrow during this exercise? Or what you have to do later today? Of course not. That's because you were in the state we call presence, which just means right here, right now. But it also means one more thing, that being present is the same as being aware. And if you can return back to this basic awareness, you can let go of all that doesn't serve you and overcome anything. Overthinking means nothing in the light of your presence. Fear means nothing in the light of your presence. Anxiety means nothing in the light of your presence. This is the power of entering the now, where wholeness begins. And every problem you could ever face has already been let go.
Okay. Okay. I was tapped in. I was tapped in. Okay, so just that quick moment, that quick exercise, looking at that pen. I'm sitting there looking at the pen, and I'm saying the words out loud of the things that I'm hearing. And what I notice is that it is not so much that thoughts become impossible. It's more that from the vantage point of the one with this expanded perception, from the vantage point of the me that is both looking at the pen, paying attention to the noises, and looking at the awareness that pays attention to the pen and the noises. Noticing, becoming aware of the awareness itself. That one seems to sit at a back position in which thoughts and feelings they happen in front of. But there's a distance in the sense that I'm able to bear witness to a thought as if it were a sound, as if it were as impersonal as a sound. I'm able to bear witness to a story I was telling myself about myself as if it were the sound of a passing car, as if it were as insignificant as a pen. Because to the one that is aware of each one of these artifacts, they are equal in value. They're simply here and nothing more. They're simply here and nothing more. Let's return to that question. What disappears when attention rests fully on experience? I'd love to hear your answers. For me, it's proximity. The very closeness to the story of trauma I was telling myself, the very closeness to the story of pain I was rehearsing so many times. To me, it's proximity. To me, it's that proximity. It's that what disappears is there, it's no longer as close as it was. The pain is no longer as close as it was. It becomes but one of the other things in an environment that is ever changing, that is ever impermanent. No longer attached to the mythologies of past or future. I'm just not, I don't have the same closeness to it. Perhaps we're ready for our breakthrough. Perhaps we're ready for our breakthrough board for the evening. Okay. So what if we say our principle is? What if it's this? What if it's this? That presence disappears, proximity to pain. You could even say that presence ends, proximity to pain. I say presence disappears, proximity to pain. Presence disappears, proximity to pain. If you don't like that, I don't mind you saying that presence ends our proximity to pain. Presence ends our proximity to pain. In other words, pain is no longer close to us. It becomes one of the other sorts of, the representations of reality become but one of the other artifacts, something that you're aware of but not caught up in. It becomes just one of the other artifacts of reality, just like the helicopter passing overhead, the hum of the refrigerator, the taste of tea. Here than not. But its closeness, the proximity, that gets up out of there. Any more than you would think a pen is yourself, and any more than you think that your destiny is wrapped up in any external artifact, or in any pen, or in any garment, it's ridiculous, right? Like your proximity to it is just not. You don't have the symbolic form. You don't have the attachment inside of your mind. The mythologies that you've created don't support the notion that your destiny rides on a pen. And so why would we think that our past is any different? Presence, what disappears when attention fully rests on experience, what disappears is our proximity to pain. That closeness to pain, that disappears. Presence ends proximity to pain. Presence ends proximity to pain. That's our principle for the evening. I like to teach from principles because as long as I understand the principle of a thing, I can find my own way forward. So now we've got this presence ending the proximity to pain situation. We know the principle. We need to understand the pattern. Ramon saying, I have a question, Dr. Shawn. Put it in the chat, Ramon. I want to hear it. I want to hear it because presence, what it disappears is that proximity to pain. Now we need to understand the pattern. The pattern being, of course, how did we get into the situation in the first place? How did we get into this situation in the first place? Well, let me see if I'm going to put it like this. I wish I could draw. I'm gonna throw this giant on here like this. So now we need to talk about the pattern. We know that presence ends proximity to pain. That's our principle. Well, what's our pattern? Well, the pattern and the problem happens when we start storing. See if we can get here. See if I can get you here. When we start storing past and future as, this is supposed to be like Merlin. Okay, when we start storing past and future as symbolic myths in the mind. See, when we start storing past and future as symbolic myths in the mind, as memories with codified emotion, we're representing, anytime we are remembering a past, we are representing reality, but only a small piece of it, and only in a tiny little way. There's many ways we can remember an event, and yet if we're remembering a traumatic experience, one that no longer exists, the actual event no longer exists, it only exists as a representation of reality inside of our mind, stored as a memory in the past. You dig what I'm saying? Stored as a past which you could call this a past memory. Or you could say a future imagination. Either way, when we're storing these thought forms inside of our body as if they represent reality, and then we begin to believe them, what happens is now we start acting from mythology rather than from true reality. What happens is we start acting from mythology rather than true reality. I can't draw. This is supposed to be Merlin. It's, you know what I'm saying? Like the King Arthur story. You feel me? He got a wand and joint. Okay. Bang, bang, bang. You know, it's a wand. The point is that the memory and the imagined future are both representations of reality that do not map on. They cannot be truthful. They cannot be wholly truthful, which means that they're always partially mythological, always partially untrue. And therefore, when we begin to believe and start drawing closer, we increase our proximity. We want to get closer to these thought forms as if they are real. If they carry that pain with them, then we have to feel that pain. We're just getting closer and closer and closer to it. It'd be impossible not to. It'd be impossible not to. All right, Twin saying he's digging Merlin. All right, well, I appreciate you. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the support. But anyway, when we're storing past and future via memory and imagination as symbolic forms inside of the mind, we begin to assign belief to these thought forms that are causing us pain. When we assign that belief, we start drawing closer. We start increasing the proximity to the pain. And so we ask ourselves what disappears. Well, the principle of the night is that when we're in presence, we're no longer investing energy in the mythology. And so naturally we become free. Naturally we begin to create that distance. Not that it's a distance that we're trying to artificially force, only that it's a distance that this didn't exist in the first place. So it's more like we're just coming to our senses. And in this case, being in the present moment, we literally are filling our senses, filling our ears, filling our bodies up with awareness, expanding our perception in the here and now. So we understand the principle that presence ends the proximity to pain. But the pattern was that the pain comes from symbolically representing reality through thought, through memory, and through imagination in such a way that we begin to believe in the old stories we're telling ourselves, or in the stories of what might be but isn't. We leave reality in favor of myths. So all the pain is really leaving reality in favor of a mythology. Let me see if I can write that. I want to see if I can get that. Boom. Pen starting to lose ink and junk. All right. So anytime we leave reality in favor of mythology, you're going to get some pain down here. That's what that equals. That's what that equals. You ain't even got to worry about it. That's your pattern. You leave reality in favor of a myth, in favor of a mythology, one that is about past or future, which are always mythological, you're going to have that pain right there. Provided that you're talking about a fearful future or a traumatic past. You're going to create that pain right there. And so what's presence doing? Presence is ending our proximity to pain because it's bringing us back to reality. Okay, excellent. So now we've talked about the principle, the pattern. We need to understand the path. We need to understand the path. Ramon, I see your question. Okay, so Ramon's saying, I am 27 years old and I'm still not where I want to be at. What do you say about that? Okay. You're only 27? You're only 27? I'd like for you to say more. I'd like for you to say more. And also, yes, you can also come on the Dr. Shawn show. If you want to, you can also come on the Breakthrough Live. We'll actually have a conversation live. And people do get a lot of value out of that. Just email me at teamdrshawn@gmail.com. It's completely free, of course, and all that. But yeah, I'd like to know more of what you're saying because at 27 years old, the people who think they have it figured out are. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. You say still not where you want to be. I wonder, do you have to access a memory of the past? Do you have to access an imagined future in order to do that? And does that itself place you in symbolic form rather than in true reality? Much easier to come on the show though, or say more right now. I just want to know. I want to know more about um, where you would like to be. More about you. Okay, so now we got our principle, our pattern. We need our path forward. What is the thing? How do we get up out of here? How do we get out of the mythologies of the past? How do we get out of the mythologies of the future, of what could be coming but isn't, of what should be coming but isn't? How do we get up out of that? What is it that we would need to do in order to find our way forward, our path forward? We talked about the principle, the pattern. Now it's time for the path. Okay. 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 I think we're pretty clear that the path today is presence. But the point is that if we can get our focus really anywhere, it could be a pen, it can be a piece of wall, it can be a piece of lint. That gives us access to the space of everywhere. What's wonderful about that space of everywhere is that it is beyond any limited notion of pain. It is beyond our symbolic representations of reality because we've left that ultra world behind and now we're in true reality. You dig what I'm saying? We are leaving behind the fake reality, the one that has been stored up as a symbol of past or future, and now we are living in true reality. Okay, so there's that presence. The point is that a focus anywhere gets us access to the space of everywhere. And what's beautiful is that that space of everywhere, it eradicates our proximity to pain. The pain is no longer close to us. We're now bigger than that because we've left that false reality behind. Okay, Ramon's saying I would like to come on your show. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And so we're getting the principle. That presence ends our proximity to pain. We understand the pattern, which is that we leave true reality when we involve ourselves in the mythologies that is past and future, and those past and future codified as memory or imagination inside of our own thought system. They're always mythological because they can only ever be partially true, at best, partially true. So rather than invest our time and energy in the myths, we are investing in the presence of being instead. And so with that, there is a certain exercise I do believe it would be lovely to end our evening with. There is a certain exercise because it's one thing to talk about presence, but now I want to feel something. I want to go directly to presence itself and ask it what it feels. I want to go directly to presence itself and ask it what it feels. I'm saying I want to go directly to presence itself and ask it what it feels. And so indeed, that'll be our closeout technique for the evening. But of course, y'all know who's trying to come through. He's saying, look, don't end the show without me. I said, all right, Brody, what you talking about? Y'all know it's time for Breakthrough Turtle. You know what I'm saying? Breakthrough Turtle, yeah, you've been missing Sublime, no problem. But, I know you've kind of been writing some things for her, you know what I'm saying? You got something for us tonight? Maybe something that can tie into the show? You know? What you think? Let me see what you... Put your turtles in the chat. Breakthrough Turtle, happy to see y'all. Breakthrough Turtle loves you. Okay, here we go. Let's see what you got. He done healed up nice. Ah. Twin saying, hey, yo, B. We call him B for short because he's from New York. He said he glad he didn't get them winter storms though. Okay, so here we go. All right, so Break the Turtle, interesting. He says, love makes your soul crawl out from its hiding place. Zora Neale Hurston. What you mean, Breakthrough? What you mean by this one, B? Hold on. So you're saying that love makes your soul crawl out from its hiding place. Could it be? Love makes your soul crawl out from its hiding place. Are you saying that, much like our conversation tonight, to be in that presence is to be abiding in that love? And are you saying that rather than be distracted by the symbolic forms of past and future, by the mythologies of past and future that our soul gets to step forth from its hiding place. Anytime we begin to abide in the present, because we enter into a unitary experience, a oneness with reality, which is the very definition of love itself, that love makes your soul crawl out from its hiding place because you've been hiding. If you've been stuck in past and future, is that what you're saying? Breakthrough turtle. Breakthrough turtle be dude. Okay, okay, breakthrough. Okay, 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 okay. I vibe. I vibe with it. I vibe with it. That love makes your soul crawl out from its hiding place. To be present in the space of everywhere is to abide in that love, and of course to overcome the myth of past and future. Stop hiding from past and future. And finally show ourselves. Okay, break the turtle. Maybe I don't know what y'all put in the water in New York, but splendid. Splendid. Okay, folks. Listen, we about to wrap this up for the evening. All I need to know is if you are choosing breakthrough tonight, I need you to send this video to someone who needs it right now. Somebody who has been coming to you talking about, oh, I just don't know what's going to happen if they're so caught up in the future, so caught up in their symbolic forms, so caught up in the mythologies of mind that a video like this could be the very video that changes their life. And so share this video with them. Share this video with them right now. And as you do, we're going to transition to our final segment. Okay, Ramon, I hear you saying I have a lot of goals and I feel like I gotta move quickly as the time goes. Okay, you feel like you're getting kind of older and and that you want to start executing on some of these goals. Interesting. Send me an email. Send me an email. I'd love to have you on the show. I'd like to unpack this at a deeper level. I'd like to unpack this at a deeper level. Okay. Without further ado, we need to get to our practice for the evening. Because at this point, I want to go to the presence itself and I want to ask it what it is like. Uh-huh. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Deep breath in with me, please. Inhale. Exhale. Once again, inhale. Exhale. At this time, I want you to straighten your back. If you are sitting, you can pretend that there's a string hanging from the ceiling and that you are attached to it from the crown of your head. The string is holding you up and it's pulling your back straight. You are sitting upright. If you are laying down, do so flat on your back as is comfortable. And at this time, I want you to become aware of the darkness behind your eyes. Close your eyes and become aware of the darkness behind your eyes. You do not need to strain to notice that when you close your eyes, there is darkness. You are simply aware of darkness. Ask yourself the question, am I aware right now? Notice that the answer is always yes. Notice that this awareness is also known by another name, and that name is I am. Notice that this awareness, your awareness, the very one that is aware of the darkness behind your eyes, is the very awareness and the only awareness that can say, I am. Awareness is, and you are that. Rest in this feeling of I am. Simply feel that you are. Simply feel what it feels like to say, I am. This I am, this awareness, at this time, tell me what you notice about this awareness, this I am. But do not use your thoughts as a tool. What does this awareness notice about itself? Is your awareness worried about tomorrow? Or is awareness simply aware of all the thoughts about tomorrow? Does this awareness come and go as it pleases? Or is this awareness simply always aware? Can this awareness be agitated can this awareness be angered? Or is this awareness simply aware, even when agitation comes and agitation goes? Find out. Has this awareness ever left you? Or is this awareness always aware, even when you dream? Notice that this awareness must always be with you. Because if this awareness were to ever leave, you would go with it. Notice that this awareness, this I am, is always here now. Regardless of what happens what comes and goes. This awareness cannot be agitated and is therefore always at peace. Abide in this awareness. It is eternal. Take one deep breath in, inhale. Exhale. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes. Folks, that exercise is worth coming back to throughout this week. You can fast forward to just this part and come back throughout this week to that simple exercise. Because if you can ask presence itself, the I am itself, how it feels, you notice that there are no mythologies present when you choose to dwell in reality. And so it is, as I always say, if fear is our only enemy, then we bring heaven to earth when we transform our minds. I'm Dr. Shawn, and we were not sent to impress our people. We were sent to transform our people into a light for the world, for God's universe opens to all who believe in breakthrough.